Hello!
Hello, AOS fans.
It's the agents of Wyrdhollow.
So Wyrdhollow is upon us. Pre-order is here.
Yeah.
And we just want to give a quick rundown of what we enjoyed about the game and what we think it's going to do to the new season.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in Wyrdhollow, but at the same time, it's not changed a lot, which is nice. It's very familiar. There's not a lot of groundbreaking changes going on like they did back in the Nether Maze days.
Yeah, it's kind of like just a half rule set. So
Yeah.
We've got a couple of extra things, but we've done a whole video on that. So do check that out.
Yep.
Again, every time it's a little step in the right direction.
Every time it's just a little bit more polished. Everything seems to just be getting a little bit better every time.
Yeah, I mean, we have only played Rivals format. We haven't tried to Nemesis it up yet, so I don't know. We haven't really tried out the salvage rule, for example, the new salvage rule. But the new warbands are really nice. The models are great. They look great on the table. They were relatively easy to put together, and the warbands, both of them, are quite. I wouldn't say they were beginner warbands. That would be my only slight drawback. Is I don't think they're beginner warbands. They certainly like the whole inspire mechanic of the Storm Coven completely kind of breaks
blows your brain.
What breaks what the inspires normally are, because they flip flop on the inspire mechanic, which is interesting, but perhaps not the best way to learn the game. And
FLM have that initial plot card that does stuff at the beginning of each round. You've got to work all that out. So they're definitely not starter warbands. If you're just coming into Underworlds now, I would say if you can get Gnarlwood, but also get this at the same time, because once you start to get up to speed with it, you're really going to want these. Yeah, and they don't seem to have done, I don't know, this might be wrong, but they don't seem to have done a Rivals of Gnarlwood box, which is not yet. No, we haven't seen any.
That might mean that they won't do a Rivals of this, so you kind of want to get it, because the warbands are really great, and once you understand how the game works, I think they're really good, and they do offer a lot of interesting options for play, and I think it kind of just shows the evolution of the game. I think there's some really quite clever stuff with there's more draw things, which we've talked about before, but there's a bit of control play with some of the spells, and then there's also the poisons are very controlly, I think, because they can really mess people up by just basically shutting down their game, but not in a too drastic a way. It's not a really negative play experience, but there's still enough there to make it interesting. And there's a lot of objective shenanigans going on. I do wish they'd used different words. A lot of objectives about objectives. Yeah, objectives, but they're quite complex and they require quite a little bit of setup. Yeah. So gone are the days where you can just walk and stand on three of them and get 3 glory. All days. Yeah, but and I really like that, and I'm going to be really interested to see what warbands are added and which warbands are going to rise to the top. Yeah, and I love the fact that with each deck that they bring out, it just shows that they're starting to get even better at building those decks and creating those synergies within them, so that you don't have to worry about deck building if you don't want. You can just take one of those decks. Yeah. And it's actually with certain warbands that don't work with every warband, but when you find a warband they're going to work with, it's going to really play well without you having to do anything, rather than in the old days when a warband and their deck was just wasn't fun at all. Now you can much easier pick something up and just play with it. Yeah, we haven't played with any other warbands yet, and and obviously the big thing that is back is magic. So obviously that's not going to work some warbands because they haven't got spellcasters, but it's really good to have that back. I haven't really got a feel for how powerful it's going to be with some of the existing magic warbands. It doesn't feel too bad. It didn't feel oppressive with 3 casters in the deck. So I think that's really good. There doesn't seem to be any really horribly powerful or really horribly easy spells to cast. Yeah, not like the Thorns of the Bride Queen with her spell to just push everybody. Yeah, exactly. They seem to have got the balance much better in this one. Or just the Curse Breakers are like, I'm going to cast this, and I'm going to cast that, and I'm going to cast it, and I'm going to score. We haven't got any of that yet. I say we haven't touched the deck building, so maybe people will start to find combos. I'm sure they will be, but I think it just shows that with each iteration of the game, we're going to get fascinating warbands. Can't wait to see what's coming next. We've got another video about what might be coming next, so do check that out when that arrives. Yep. Any final thoughts, Pete? I just think that this is, I said it with Gnarlwood, I think I said it was one of the best boxes, and I think again with this, I think it's still one of their best boxes. The models and the warbands are getting a little bit more technical and a little bit more tricky in comparison to previous seasons, but even still, for anybody who's played the game before, it won't be a big ask for them to pick it up. No, I would totally agree with that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe to catch up with all the latest Wyrdhollow content, because we're going to have it basically just pouring out of everything.
Spewing out of everywhere.
Well, every week anyway.
There'll be some games, there'll be some reviews and all the stuff that we normally do.
Yeah, so thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.